Let me start with a scene that will feel familiar to many of you. It's a Monday morning. The leadership team is gathered around a screen. The dashboards are up. NPS is flat. Customer complaints are manageable. AI investments are significant. And yet, service costs keep climbing. At some point, the CEO leans back and asks a question that lands heavier than expected. Why does it feel like we're doing everything right and customers are still tired of us? That moment, that quiet discomfort, is where today's conversation begins. The hidden problem behind good enough CX is that most organizations don't have a CX problem. They have a timing problem. They fix issues quickly, they recover well, they apologize sincerely, but all that happens after the customer's already been inconvenienced. We've optimized recovery, not prevention, and customers feel that even if they can't articulate it, they feel it. And in many companies, CX has become very good at managing pain instead of designing experiences that prevent pain altogether. A lesson from the customer war room. I've sat in more than one customer war room where the walls were covered in insights, journey maps, escalation logs, voice of customer data. And the pattern was always the same. Teams were proud, and rightly so, of how fast they resolved issues. But when you listen closely to customer stories, a different question emerged. Why did this happen to me at all? Customers weren't asking for better explanations. They weren't asking for faster apologies. They were asking, silently, for a life with less friction. So, why does this matter now? Well, here's the shift that's happening right now. Customers no longer compare you only to your competitors, they compare you to the best, quietest experiences in their lives. The ones that just work, the ones they don't think about, the ones that remove effort without asking for permission. By 2026, excellence in CX will no longer be about responsiveness, it will be about absence. Absence of friction, absence of surprise, absence of effort. The idea of self-driving CX, this is where the concept of self-driving CX comes in. And no, this is not about replacing humans. It's not about more chatbots, and it's definitely not about automating empathy. Self-driving CX means this. The organization notices risk before the customer does. It anticipates friction, and it acts quickly and quietly on the customer's behalf. A delivery is rescheduled before the customer checks the tracking link. A billing error is corrected before trust is questioned. A subscription is adjusted before frustration turns into churn. The experience doesn't ask for attention. It simply protects the customer's time, energy, and trust. What makes this so hard is that the technology is largely here. That's not the barrier. The real challenge is intent. Most CX systems are still designed to wait for customers to raise their hand and say, something went wrong. Self-driving CX requires leaders to ask a different question. Which problem should never reach the customer? And why do they still do so today? That question's uncomfortable because it exposes organizational silos, incentives, and habits, not customer behavior. Organizations that move towards self-driving CX tend to do a few things differently. First, they stop obsessing over every journey and focus on friction density. Where does frustration happen most often, and where does it hurt the most? Second, they separate decision making from execution. They don't just automate actions, they improve the judgment behind those actions. Third, they change how success is measured. They stop rewarding teams only for fast resolution, and they start rewarding teams for problems that never occur. That shift alone changes behavior more than any new tool. And finally, they keep humans firmly in the loop, especially when stakes are emotional, ethical, or high value. The most trusted autonomous systems always know when not to act. Let me leave you with one question. If you're a CEO, CCO, or CX leader, Ask this in your next executive meeting and don't rush the answer. Which customer problems do we already see coming and still allow to happen? That question draws a clear line between automation and autonomy, between service excellence and experience protection, between managing customers and respecting them. Self-driving CX isn't about being impressive. It's about being considerate at scale. And the most powerful experiences your customers will ever have are the ones they never have to think about at all. That's when you know CX has finally grown